Claire Benson, and tonight I will be talking about the benefits of juicing and the different types of juices on the market, and also I'll be discussing water, how to make your water alkaline and the types of water. There's also going to be some handouts that lists all the waters on the market and what their pH value is. Hope you enjoy it. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Dr. Veronica Oates. I'm an associate professor at Tennessee State University, and I'm a member here at Riverside Chapel Seventh-day Adventist Church. I have a degree in nutrition, and I'm a registered dietitian. Tonight I'm going to talk a little bit about 4 habits or truths that we can use to change our eating habits and improve our health status and increase our longevity.
Correct. Slavery in America, American slavery, exactly, was abolished. What year?
1833.
1833. Our Caribbean cousins got free a little later. Okay. Can someone tell me, is slavery still going on today? Yes. Yes, it is. Definitely. In different forms, right? Well, I want you to know that this is week 5 in our attempt to be like Harriet Tubman.
All right.
She says, they say that she says, that she freed 1,000 slaves. And that she would have freed thousands more if only they had known they were slaves. Now, I just want to say that there is a slavery we need to be free from.
Yes.
What is it? Eating. Yes, yes. Listen, just because you put a KFC in my neighborhood does not mean I have to eat it.
Amen.
Is that right?
That's right.
So welcome today on our week 5. We've got some wonderful information for you so that we don't have to be enslaved to our adverse appetites.
Amen.
Tonight, we have 2 very special presentations. One from Claire Benson. She will be coming to talk about juicing.
All right.
Should we juice? Should we not juice? Should we do smoothies? Should we not do smoothies? We're all over the map, aren't we? Okay, she's going to give us healthy ways to juice. She's going to show us. And she's got some taste demos for us. Isn't that great?
All right.
Also, Claire is also going to be coming to tell us about water.
Okay.
There's bottled water, there's spring water, there's distilled water, there's alkaline water, there's tap water. Another quiz. Is Flint the only place with contaminated water? No. Are there other places?
Yep.
So the neighborhood I'm from in Atlanta was a very nice suburb. I was absolutely appalled to find out that by the time the water from the Chattahoochee, which is in and of itself bad, by the time it got down to our neighborhood in Atlanta on the eastern suburb, it had been recycled 5 times.
Wow.
Does it impact our health? Claire is going to come and tell us about that tonight. Also, we have with us Dr. Veronica Oates, and she is a professor of nutrition at Tennessee State University, and I'm going to officially introduce her before she gets up, but she's got some dynamite information for us, okay? So let's give ourselves a hand for being here.
You know, there are basically 2, maybe 3 types of juices. This one is the most popular. And you have the Juice Man, you have the Breville makes a very expensive one. They sell it at Macy's, I think it goes for like $600. But they all basically work the same way. It's a spin basket, it's called a centrifugal. It spins at a high RPM, revolutions per minute. It has a little spin basket with a strainer on it. Well, I'm going to show you this one. Well, can you see it? Okay. This juice, you have to juice and drink it right away. You cannot store this juice. And you only need to make enough that you can drink in an 8-ounce glass. If you do it longer, it's going to heat up, it'll kill the enzymes, and you're not going to get the nutritional value that you need. Okay? So if this is all you have, then use it by all means. But remember, don't juice more than what you're going to drink at that one sitting. Leave it on your counter, rinse it out, put it back on the counter. Okay? A juicer like this, it usually has it has a spigot here that you get the juice, and it has a little area here that you can catch the pulp. I like to put like a plastic bag, that way when I'm done I just take it off, you know. Don't have to wash anything out. But these are relatively easy to clean. How many of you have a Champion juicer? Or your mother may have had one, or your grandmother. This is a workhorse. This is a wonderful, this is, I don't know how many decades old, but it's timeless. This juicer, it has a slower RPM, but it still does have teeth. This juice, 2 days. You cannot keep it more than 2 days because you're going to lose nutritional value. And again, you can't go ahead and juice like a gallon of juice on this because it's going to be spinning too fast, and it'll heat up the carrots or the whatever vegetable you're using, and it will kill the enzymes. But this is a nice machine because it has versatility in terms of you can make nut butters. Anyone do any nut butters on it? I've made marzipan, raw organic marzipan on it. Beautiful. It has different screens that you can get various thicknesses, or it has a blank that it doesn't have anything come out of here. It'll shoot it out through the nozzle in the front. Okay? So this is a nice machine. Let's talk about pricing. You can get a Black & Decker juicer for about $30, $25, $30, or you can get the Breville for like $500, $600 or more, but they work the same. Why spend that money?
Yeah.
The Champion juicer, they used to sell them for $250. I've seen them for going higher than that. But sometimes on eBay you can get a better price on that. This particular machine, if anyone went to my restaurant, this is what I use. This is called, I'm sorry?
That's a Cadillac.
That's the Cadillac, right. This is the creme de la creme of juicers. It's a very expensive machine. If juicing is part of your health regimen, and then you need to invest. If you're not going to be a 24/7 juicer, then don't spend the money. This is about $2,500. It's solid stainless steel. Wow. It works by hydraulic press. The juice is not oxidized because it collects it in a bag, and it has, rather than teeth, it has an auger, which it doesn't have blades. I'll show it to you. I'm trying not to step away from this microphone. And what it does, it masticates the juice. These are centrifugal, these are masticating juices. Much like how we chew our food. This will break down, and I'll see if I can open this. When I had my restaurant, I had several customers who had overcome severe illnesses, breast cancer, prostate cancer, and juicing was a part of their lifestyle. So they had me order these for them, and they use it to this day. Okay. Okay. Can you see? No blade. This has an auger. Can you see it? Yeah, no blade. It just kind of chews up the food as it spins very slowly. I'm going to bother to put that back on right now. Anyway, this also comes with different blades. Did I bring them out here? Maybe I didn't. Okay. It has different size screens, and you slip it in here, and it catches the pulp here, and then you put them, this is what the bag looks like. A little bit more involved. It has these little bags, and the pulp, when it grinds it, puts it in here, and you get it maybe just a third of the way full. You take it off, slip another one on, and you fold it into thirds, and you put it on here, and usually do 2 of them, and then you use the hydraulics, and it comes up and it presses the juice. This has the highest juice output. It's a pure quality juice. By the time you've pressed all the juices out of it, the pulp that's left, the animals won't even eat it because it's very dry. So I don't waste it. I put it in my compost is what I would do with it. But these juices, you can run it through. You know that. You can take the pulp and run it through again. It still has a lot of liquid. This won't. It's dry. Okay? So this has the most optimum amount of juice output there is. This is $2,500, but you can go on eBay. There are different reconditional centers that use this, or holistic centers that treat chronically ill people, and they will use this particular machine.
How long does it last?
Oh, this will go about 5 to 7 days without nutritional loss.
Okay.
So it's definitely worth it. You know, if you're juicing for a lot of people or the family or just yourself, if you're trying to get well, then this is worth its weight. It's worth its money. This particular juicer is about 18 years old. Yeah. So it really stands the test of time.
What is it called?
I'm sorry?
What is the name again?
This is called the Norwalk press. It was invented by a doctor called Dr. Norman Walker, and they named it after him. They've had different prototypes and they've tried to improve upon the design, but they found that this is the best way. People don't like to mess with the bags. To me, it's par for the course. They say it's more to clean. You know, if I have to take all this apart, and it's the same, you know. But this is a little daunting if you feel intimidated. With this, you have to be a little bit careful. It takes practice, because if you push the lever up and the press goes up, it will shoot the juice out the bag. These bags, you see they look orange? That means it's very well seasoned. And the new bag, it's not going to, you'll get more juice leaking out of it. This is a seasoned bag. And the way you clean these bags, you wash it in some hot water, get all the sediment out, and then you put it in the freezer. Then when you're ready to use it again, take it out the freezer, run some hot water in the bag, and then after it's thawed out, then run some cold water again, just wring it out, and then you're ready to use it. That's how it's a little bit more involved to me. But this is a good juicer. They do have some other juicers that have an auger. They're a lot less expensive. Omega. And you can buy that at Bath and Bed and Bath. Bed Bath and Beyond, that's the one. And I think they run about $300. And if you have that coupon, 20%, 25%, then it's worth it to get it. Or you can look online and maybe get one there. I don't know about the department stores if they sell them, but if you're going to look for a juicer, make sure you get one that's a slow juicer with an auger, not a spin basket. Now, some of them with the auger, it will have what looks like a spin basket, but basically what it is a strainer. It has the auger, but it will have that just to strain the sediments. And that's okay, as long as it has the slow turning auger in it, okay? Any questions about juices?
What do we need to do?
Okay. You know, we live in a country that's the agricultural department is just overburdened the soil. You know, farmers, they're scarce, dying out. And our food is devitalized. I only do organic, but that's one other thing you need to remember. Don't juice conventional, because you've got pesticides and fungicides in it. You want to get organic, which has much less. The last time I checked, with conventionally grown produce, they have over 300 synthetics that they don't tell you about. What's happened now with organic, because people are now taking command of their health, and they have watchdogs, and so they watch the trend, the sales. What is the general public, what they shop for? People are trying to be more healthy. So now you've got this large corporation and these pharmaceutical corporations that are now wanting to be shareholders in the organic agricultural field. And so what happens when they get in, they loosen the restrictions on what is allowed in organic. So now, the last time I checked, they are allowing 30. But you compare 30 to 300, over 300. It's a big difference. So now for organic, what I do when I get my organic produce, I use this particular thing. This is GSE, grapefruit seed extract. You heard Dr. Pilote talk about the healing is in the seeds, and it is. This particular product is a citracidel. They use it in Europe in the hospitals as an antibiotic. It kills even E. coli bacteria. And what I do with this, and I've used it for years, if anyone's come to the 10-day raw detox class, I'll tell you about this, and people use it. So you put about 10 drops in your regular tap water, put your whatever vegetables or fruit in there, let it sit, and you'll be surprised all the stuff that falls off it. And then just give it a little swirl, then rinse it under tap water after you're done. Okay, and then I chop off the tops and the bottoms of the fruit, or I use a stiff vegetable brush nice stiff one, like for beets, because it's, gone in the ground. Scrub away all the dirt, and the skin. You don't have to peel the beets, just scrub away all the outer skin, and you're ready to go. What I do with this GSE, when I go out to restaurants, I will take this with me. And they give, we always have water with it. I'll put maybe about 4 drops in my water, swirl it around, because you've heard the reports about they found E. coli in the ice. Have you heard that? No. You haven't? It's been on the news. You've heard it. Yeah. Anyone heard it? Yeah. Yeah. Lettuce. They have so many recalls. So I wash all my fruits and vegetables with this. I put this in my drinking water. If I'm around people that are sick, like sore throat or something, I will take this straight drops, a couple drops in the back of my throat, and it'll kill the bacteria. My niece was in China. I have a niece that's studying Mandarin in China. And my other niece from England went to visit her, came down with strep throat as soon as she got there. And what are you going to do? You don't have any doctors there that she can go to. No money to pay for the doctors. So we communicate. We telephoned her on WhatsApp. Anyone use WhatsApp? It doesn't cost anything, so I was able to call China. And we just stepped her through. Her mother, my sister, the one that lives in China, sent her this in her care package. So she had it. We told her, let her take it straight. And she did it, knocked the virus out, and she was able to continue to enjoy her rest of her vacation. Now, if something has taken hold of you, it'll take a couple days, because your body, it's already, but you need to do this for several days, and then it will shorten the lifespan of the virus. But if someone's around you that's sick, or you feel like, I feel like I might be coming down, but it hasn't taken hold, this will knock it out. Okay? You can buy this at health food stores. I think Vitamin Shop sells it, Whole Foods sells it. I have several. I didn't bring them with me, but if anyone's interested, I have several booklets on the benefits of grapefruit seed extract. Okay? This one is by Nutribiotic. And usually I have quite a few of them that I normally sell to people, but I don't have any with me today. But you can go to the health food store if you're interested. This is on my windowsill in front of my sink, so I use it when I'm washing anything, strawberries, whatever. And it's just been a lifesaver. Okay, so anything that I prepare for you here, it's washed with the Nutri.
How long do you leave it in the water?
Oh, right away. Just swirl it around in the water. It activates.
Continue to prepare.
Yes, and I think this might tell you how many drops. If not, I have a booklet that tells you what. Do you want to look at this and see? And it is very strong. When you put it in your water, like if you're going out to a restaurant, I keep it in my handbag with me. I'll just do like about 3 or 4, because it's a tall glass water, 3 or 4 drops, mix it around. Has a slightly bitterish taste, but no worse than if you squeeze a lemon in it. Okay, so it's fine. Any questions?
Yes, I have one.
Yes.
You mentioned the 2 machines that are right here.
Yes.
The rotation of the little cup of the teeth. You said that the one that rotates the fastest, you have to drink it
Right away, yes.
Why is that?
Because the RPM, the centrifugal force of and it has little teeth and it creates shock to the vegetable. It's going to kill the enzymes. Plus it's coming, I'm sorry, yes.
Okay, then the one that's slow.
This is a slower, this will last 2 days. But you don't want to make like a gallon of juice on this.
Right.
If you drink 2 8-ounce glasses of juice a day, then you can make enough for 2 days and put the rest in the refrigerator. Yes?
Question. That's a smaller champion, but I have a large one.
A larger champion, yes.
Yes. And so would that last longer?
You'd have to look at the manual and see what it says, or do some research on it. But I mean, it's basically the same thing. It has the little blade with the teeth on it. Yeah. So I wouldn't think more than 2 days. Yes.
If you freeze it, will it still lose its?
With freezing, you can freeze juices, but remember, if you thaw it out in the refrigerator, it's sitting longer and it's going to oxidize. Unless you fill it right the way to the top with a nice little seal on it, but still you will have some nutritional loss. But with this, you could mostly freeze it and get away with it if you want to have a 3rd day out of it. Okay? Yes?
What about the juices you see that say organic?
What about the okay. All right. If it says organic and it's on the shelf, it's been pasteurized. So therefore, there's no nutritional value. It's been killed in the heating process to pasteurize it. That's why it can last for a long time on the shelf, even though it says organic.
What about the one in the refrigerator?
I don't know what ones you're specifically talking about. Now, there are different juice outlets that have opened up in Nashville because people are realizing the healing benefits of juicing. There's Juice Nashville, there's Franklin Juice, there's different other juiceries around town. They say that they use the Norwalk juicer. They said it's a cold press, that's what this is, cold press juices. And they'll tell you to drink it by, and it's usually about 3 days.
I seen them in the refrigerator bar. I was at I think maybe I was at Walmart and I saw carrot juice.
I don't know. You'd have to read it, make sure it's not pasteurized, and
Okay, not pasteurized.
yes, it needs to be a cold pressed juice. And you need to look at the dates because you don't want something that's out of date. Okay? And they should have 800 numbers on there. You call and find out. If you can, you're better off doing your own juices because, you know, people that make mass amounts of juice, you don't know how they're cleansing the vegetables, the produce, you know. I'm a bit of a stickler about that. I buy organic carrots, but I take my carrots and I put them in the water with the citrusidel in it, the grapefruit seed extract, and let it sit. And then I cut off, then I rinse them off, and then I'm ready to use. What happens with this? You know, carrots grow in the ground, beets grow in the ground. You've got the farm workers that go in and harvest. They are not going to practice good hygiene. And what happened with some of the reason why the FDA, the Food and Drug Administration, said that certain foods have to be pasteurized is because they had an E. coli outbreak. And some of the workers that are in the fields, they don't have bathroom facilities. They just go and then they carry on. So, you know, you need to take charge of your own. They have so many recalls. It's just ridiculous. Even the stuff that says organic, a lot of recalls. So I know we're a society of convenience and we like things easy. But you know what? Your health, what did Dr. Pelote say? What are you worth?
Priceless.
Right, exactly. So for me, I'm worth it. So I'm going to make sure that, and I'm not going to give anyone anything that I wouldn't, you know, consume. Any other questions? And did you all get a handout on the water? Oh, okay. Oh, I think Cheryl's handing it out right now. You know, I think America and some European countries are so obsessed with bottled water. And it's a multi-billion-dollar industry. And so anyway, you find all different kinds. Everyone has their favorites. My sister likes Fiji water. She loves the taste of Fiji water. Barbara also. Anyone else a Fiji lover? But they're all. Everyone. Tell me some of your favorites. What are your favorites? I'm sorry. Dasani. What's yours? Smart water. Okay. Distilled water. What's yours? Crystal Springs. What's yours? Oh, I think she's wait. Anyone else with a favorite? Yes. Any particular brand?
It's the Polar brand. They have their.
Okay. What's yours?
I have a question.
Yes.
I have a rainforest water system.
Okay. You do. Oh, wow. Very good. Tell us about it.
Tell me about it.
I need to know the name and what is the process that they're purifying this water. We can talk about it a little bit later. All right. I'm sorry? Evian. Okay. In your handout, these are all different types of water that Dr. Robert Young has tested. He's a microscopist, and he has tested with a sophisticated machine the pH value of the water. Now, 7 on the pH scale is supposed to be neutral. I actually consider 7.5 neutral, and I think Dr. Robert Young does as well. I consider anything over 7.5 to be alkaline. If you look on your list, do you see your favorite listed there? Someone mentioned Evian. Who mentioned Evian? Huh? Okay, what does it say on there? What's the pH value?
7.53.
7.5? 7.53. Okay. Anyone else? What's someone else's favorite? Someone mentioned Dasani. You see Dasani on there?
Yeah, the sign is 7.2.
7.2. Okay. Someone else mentioned another. What did you mention over here? I'm sorry?
Smart one.
Smart water. Look for smart water on there. You know, those are all marketing tricks. You want to be thought of as being smart. Yes, I drink smart water. Everyone walks around with a bottle. Yes. What is the pH value on smart water? I'm sorry?
6.9.
It's acidic. So it's not very smart. All right. So if you really like that water and you like the taste, there are different things that you can do to raise the pH and make it more alkaline. I'm going to let you know what these things are. Okay. Number one, as you know, you can squeeze a lemon in it and it will raise the pH value. To what? I don't know. You don't want a lemon that's been sitting out on the counter all day long because it'll lose the ability to, alkaline the water. You want to cut a fresh lemon, wait about no more than 30 minutes and then squeeze it in the water, swirl it around. And you'd have to test to see how much it raises because everyone's water is a little bit different on the pH scale. The other way is some baking soda. Baking soda will raise because it's naturally alkaline, it'll raise the pH level of the water. Make sure you get baking soda that's aluminum free. You don't want to introduce the aluminum into your water. And they also sell some alkalining drops in the health food stores. Trace Minerals makes a really good one. It's called Concentrace, and you just add a few drops and it really raises it pretty high. So if you have a water you really just love the taste, or yes.
The name again?
Which one?
Trace.
Oh, Trace Minerals is the company. The name of the alkaline, they have different brands, that's just one.
Oh, okay.
But I use Concentrace, my father. Someone mentioned distilled water. Distilled water is actually the purest water you can find. And the reason is you can get regular tap water with all the arsenic and the metals and all the inorganic compounds in there. And it'll boil the water, steam rises, and it goes through this chamber like a condensation, and it has a little nozzle where it drips into your container. They have like a little post filter that's made of like charcoal. So if any sediments or any pollutants rise in the steam, it'll catch it before it comes down into the water. But distilled water is dead water because there are no minerals. So you need to remineralize the distilled water. It's excellent water. I have a distiller and I love it. But if I use that water, then I'll just remineralize it. You can do that. I cook with distilled water if I'm out like here at the church. And because I'm adding sea salt, that's adding the minerals back to it. So we're okay. Yes?
There's one other water that's not on here. Have you ever heard of Kangen water?
Kangen. That is, yes, that is different. That is water that has been ionized, and it is an alkaline water. It's a very good water. It's an ionizer machine. It takes your tap water, and it goes through what's called a biostone, and it purifies it, and it has different layers of things that it purifies the water, and it's a highly alkaline water. I don't know, you'd have to find out what the pH, but it is a good, you can buy the machine or you can buy the water. I've seen different outlets. I've never bought it, but I know how it works. Okay, I have an ionizer at home. Mine is a Jupiter Melody. It sits on my countertop. It has a diverter little nozzle. So on my tap, my faucet, the regular tap water will run through it. If I want purified water, I pull the little knob out and it diverts the water through the whole little chamber. It also oxygenates the water. So you'll see little oxygen bubbles in my water, and you can adjust the pH. So you can have acidic water on mine, or you can have alkaline. And you can vary the alkalinity up to 11. 11 is too high for most people. It's for someone that's chronically ill. I have mine set between 9.5 and 10. Okay? Those machines, yes?
Did you mention how much baking soda?
Okay, let me talk about that real quick. Okay, if you're going to use baking soda, half a teaspoon to 1 gallon, that's very important. Half a teaspoon of baking soda, and that is non-aluminum baking soda, to a gallon of water. Okay? And you can do that to distilled water if you want to drink it, okay? To make it alkaline. Or you can add a little sea salt. Himalayan is the best one. It'll have more minerals. Or you can just squeeze a lemon in it. They have some sophisticated pH testers that you can buy from a health food store that's specific to water. Little test strips. So if you get yourself into a pattern, just get the little strip, dip it in the water once you've done it, you can see exactly where you are on the pH scale. Okay? All right, this is my favorite water, Essentia. Look on your, you can buy this just about everywhere now. Before, only Whole Foods had it. And it says on here it's 9.5, but you know, the longer it sits on the shelf, you're going to lose some of the, but he tested it and it tests out at what, 8.5, I think? 8.5. But on here, they say it's 9.5 or higher. And the thing is, it's only if they freshly do it. You know, it's sitting on the shelf, even though it's got the seal on it. But if you don't drink the whole thing, it's going to be oxidized. You're going to lose some of the pH value. But it's an excellent water. It's smooth. And so if I'm out and about, this is what I'm going to use. And again, and the bottles are BPA free. Don't leave it in the sunlight. Yes. This is Essentia.
It's on the back.
Whole Foods has a variety of different alkaline waters. And you just have to look. They had a brilliant one and they stopped carrying it. I don't know why, but that was a 10. It was brilliant. I don't remember the name of it now, but they've stopped carrying it. Reverse osmosis. Anyone use reverse osmosis? Yes. That water is also acidic. So the same thing with distilled water. You need to remineralize it. And if you buy your reverse osmosis from a store that has the machine, make sure you look on the label. By law, they're supposed to put the date on it when they change the filter. And I forgot, it's supposed to be like 3 months, no more than 3 months old, because the water coming out can be more contaminated than the water they go in, because if they haven't changed the filter. Okay? All right. Any other questions? Everyone okay with water? All right. Thank you all. Hopefully that was informative. Okay.
What was the name of your tea you said?
I have a Jupiter Melody. It cost me $1,300. But you know what? I looked on the website for a friend of mine who's a medical doctor. He has his own practice. And I was able to find them one for $400. It was a reconditioned machine, but it still had the warranty. So just look on like eBay or some sites, and you can get one, you know, really inexpensively. And what's nice about the Jupiter Melody, it has a little digital readout, and it tells you when you need to change the filter. You don't have to guess. Yeah. And the filters last for 2 years, and it counts down as it goes. Okay. All right. Thank you all.
Are we going to do the juice?
Oh, yes. I juice for you, and we have some samples. We're going to hand that out. Yes.
What about the question pertaining to the water?
Yes.
What if you have your own machine?
Oh, yes. Someone mentioned that. What kind of machine do you have?
I don't have one.
Oh. What kind of machine?
Hypothetical.
Oh, well, I think, Jean, you mentioned you have. Tell me what the name. It's the Rainforest. How does it work? Is Rainforest just the name, or is it a reverse osmosis machine? What is the technology?
It's a machine, and periodically it has to have the filter changed on it once a year.
So it sounds like Rainforest is the manufacturer's name, but it's really a reverse osmosis machine.
Did you say twice a year, Jean?
Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like it's a reverse osmosis, and that's what you need to find out. And I would say test the water, because if it is a reverse osmosis, then the pH is going to be very low. You still need to remineralize it. But what's nice about it is, like, for your household, your whole household will have nice pure water for showering, for doing laundry. You won't get that hardness or the calcium buildup. So it's nice for that. But for drinking, you need to... Well, no, I'm not saying it's an okay machine, but so far as your drinking water, if you want your body to be alkaline...
That's what I mean, as far as drinking. So
yeah, well, get yourself a pH tester.
Oh, get a pH
Tester, yes, and just test the water for the pH value. But if you just want to be sure, just do those little tips that I gave you, the baking soda or the lemon or the mineral drops. Okay, did you have a question? No. Okay.
Claire, what's the flavor of the...
Oh, today I got organic beets and organic carrots. Okay, so this is carrots and beets. Organic beets and organic carrots are naturally sweet, so you don't need to add anything to it. I typically don't like to add fruit, unless you just really, so if you're new to juicing, you're not used to the taste. But hopefully you guys will enjoy it. I also juiced the beet greens. So the long stem, so you've got chlorophyll in the dark leafy greens, which your body needs chlorophyll. Chlorophyll calms the histamines in your body. So we're going to hand these out, and hopefully you'll all enjoy it. Any other questions? Yes?
How much lemon, if we choose to do the lemon? For 8 ounces.
Half a lemon, I think, would be plenty. But test it, Annette.
Okay.
Get yourself a little pH tester at the health food store for water, and then just do a test. That way you'll know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you mention anything about purified water?
Purified water, you know, that's another little catch phrase.
Yeah.
Purified in what sense, and what has it been purified of? You know, a lot of purified water still contains traces of arsenic in it, and some metals that you really don't want in your body. So, and I don't know if it's mineral rich either. So you need to, and what kind of minerals? So, so you need to test the water and just ask some questions. Okay. I think purified water is okay for cooking. If you don't want to use your tap water, I think it'd be better than the tap water. Yes. Any other questions?
I did check. I got somebody coming about some alkaline water, and they have it. I'm gonna say the name in case you say it's not right.
You said you're going to tell me the name?
I'll tell you the name. I got it over at the pharmacy with Pruitt's. Oh, thank you. And but what I didn't like when you brought the gallon, when I got the gallon of water, there was absolutely nothing on the gallon jug.
Oh, no labeling?
No labeling. And I'm an old nurse. I know better than that. I've never heard of doing anything. It tastes like it was something. I believe that. But I thought, I don't know. It's no date. It's not how much alkaline is in it. I mean, absolutely nothing.
Okay, so where did you say you got it?
Pruitt's Pharmacy over there on Dickinson Road.
So what you need to do is call them and find out what method of alkalinity or alkalining do they use to purify that water, and what is the pH value.
And you want the pH to be what? At least, what do you say?
8, I think.
How much? 7.5?
7.5 I consider neutral. I mean, I think the way that the standard is 7 is neutral. It's neither acidic or alkaline. I still consider 7.5 to be more acidic, so I like anything above 8.
Anything above 8?
Yes.
Okay.
And if you're trying to get well, if you have an illness you're trying to overcome, you really need a higher pH. And get yourself a pH tester and test your water, even the water you got from Pruitt. Yes.
I don't know what it is.
Yeah. Yes. But you know, you have your little cheat sheet there, which the microscopist tested all these water, even my Essentia. I was so happy I saw 9.5 plus or more. And he says it's 8.5. It's still alkaline, but because it's been sitting on the shelf. Yes. Excuse me?
The pharmacy on Pruitt,
Yes.
he has the Enagic machine,
What is it?
the Kangen machine.
Oh, he has Kangen water. Okay. Kangen water is typically alkaline, but just ask him what the pH value is of the water. And it doesn't harm to test it in case you want to add a little bit more for yourself. Yes. Oh. Has everyone got the juice? No. Oh. I'm sorry? Has everyone got their juice?
Yes, I like that.
You like it?
Does it have,
Oh, you like it, huh?
it's natural?
Just natural, just beets and carrots, that's all.
I like it.
Good. And that came from this machine. Yeah. Yes. When I had my restaurant, I had people that were representatives of the Hallelujah Diet. They had trained with George Malcolmus. They would come and order a gallon of juice to take on the road. And they said the juice was so rich. They loved it from this. And they were on the road for a week. And they said, as it went on, the juice got richer and richer. So, yeah. What were you going to say?
I was just wondering if you could all have a gallon of this to take.
Salt. So if you know you're on a salt restricted diet, think about it. Okay. I'm not saying no, but it's always better to err on the safe side, right? So a little less. You cook with a little bit of salt. Food already has some salt in it. So you really don't have to. And again, that idea of training your taste buds, okay? Nothing tastes better than good health. Sugar, things like HFC, so those are your high fructose corn syrups. If you see anything that says dextrose, syrup, sucrose, maltose, honey, in any form or fashion of those. So sometimes you'll see things that might say malt syrup. It's still a sugar. Same with fat, your lipids, tallow, lard, fatty acid, cholesterol, trans fat, hydrogenated, all of those are still fats.
You also have a thing called some kind of sugar alcohol?
Yeah, so sugar alcohol is alcohol attached to a sugar. So it's still, the reason they do that, the idea is that it's a less caloric, so you don't get as many calories. So when we say calories, that's just another term for energy. But if you're not expending those calories, it's going to be stored as fat. So it's an alcohol. So, you know, and there are different types, like we have ethyl alcohol, you have your rubbing alcohol, methyl alcohol. This is they just attach chemically OH on it to make it an alcohol.
So is it, of course, we know it's got to be better than just regular sugar. Is it?
So it's less calories. So yeah, most carbohydrates, when we start looking at sugar, you're really looking at, the estimate is, they say 4 calories per gram. It's really like 3 point something. So a sugar alcohol may have from 1.5 or 2 calories per gram. Just really, yeah. Okay. And so if anybody's obese, and I always tell people this, you know, I'm not trying, if you can lose 22 pounds, and still be what we consider in a healthy BMI, because everybody's not there. For some people, it might be 10 pounds. But they do know that if you can lose 22 pounds, you increase your mortality, right? So about a 20 to 25% fall in total mortality, a 30 to 40% fall in diabetes, and this is in deaths, 40 to 50% in obesity-related cancer deaths. And this is the thing about cancer. Most cancers can be attributed to diet. Now, there are some things that we can't change. I can't change my genes. Right? I'm always going to be a woman. Okay? I'm always going to be the daughter of Roscoe and Joan Ledbetter. But I can change what I'm eating. I can change what I'm not doing. Like if I'm not getting physical activity, I can change that. Even the small things, blood pressure, your lipids, as far as like your cholesterol level or triglycerides, angina, and of course, again, diabetes. So the idea for my second truth is habits are behavior. And behavior never lies, right? So if somebody tells you, and this is earlier, they tell you, oh, but I've cut back and this and that. And sometimes your body does have to adjust because your body will want to change to keep that weight that you are. But if you've been cutting back for a month now and you haven't lost anything, you've been picking up something else, right? You cut back something, but then right. So the idea is we have to change our eating habits. And one of the things that I think is the best way to do it is mindful eating. And this is what the Lord showed me that day in the shower. He told me, and I just prayed, I had prayed, but it was like, Holy Spirit, will you just show me what I need to do? And I heard, you have to listen. Okay? So, do you pray before eating? Or do you sometimes in your head and then you just kind of go forward? I'm just asking. Right? And I asked the Holy Spirit, once he showed, I said, well, Lord, I said, help me to stop. Okay. So are you eating slowly? Again, or are you just yum, 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 eat them up? Okay. Do you eat in front of a screen? It used to be a television, but it could be your computer. Your phone, yeah. There's so many things now where we're just sitting and we're watching media or using media. And do you go back for seconds? Okay. I'm just saying. So the idea is you have to be prepared to stop. Okay. So if you're doing those meals where the food is in the center of the table, we call them family style, be prepared to stop. It really is better to cook, get your plate, say that's it, and put the other food up. Right? So success. Success, we know, is doing what you know is right, even when you want to do wrong. So it could be a feeling that's saying to you, oh, you know you need to stop. If you unbuttoning that top button, if you purposefully wearing stretch, because you know. Okay. It could be an instinct, right? Just something instinctively, like that day, it was literally, sometimes something to say, something told me not to, but you did anyway. Okay. One thing I will say is that it will get easier. As I listened, it got easier. It got easier to hear, and it got easier to stop. So one thing I like to talk to my students about is nutrients in the foods in the body. Because I do media literacy, it's really important to combat media. And it's difficult to see. I want to see how I can actually, there we go. If you can see broccoli, so the purple is protein. You see where the broccoli is? You see this is meat, and you see this is a human being. This is what the human body is composed of. That is actually about the same amount as a human body. When you look at the protein in vegetable, broccoli, and kale is another one. But the idea is that media has convinced us that you have to get it from an animal source. But you look how, that's double the amount. And that's the bamboozling that we've had in this country because people want to make money. And they make money from disease. Okay? So if we do it God's way, right, we'll get God's results. And he said, I promise you long life. Right? And that's a promise. Right? And satisfaction. Didn't he say that? I would satisfy you with long life. Yeah. Truth number 3, your habits determine your future. Okay. So when you think about your past and even your present, it's a result of habits. So if we want a different future, right? I know I want to be happy. That's one of it. And happy to me means I'm going to live longer. And last week I had you to do the little prevention thing just to see what your risk was. Diabetes is one of the things we know is related to weight, when type 2 diabetes. And the things that we can do, this limit your sugar intake. The idea is that we have this myth. It's not that the sugar is causing the diabetes. Okay. But the idea is that the more sugar that you're bringing in, it irritates your blood vessels. It causes your pancreas to work harder to bring down your blood glucose to a level where it's not irritating your blood vessels. And they also know that this extra sugar intake actually they think is contributing to having this excess blood triglycerides. Okay, so it's so many different things that sugar is doing that upsets the balance in our body. Another thing about the fat intake, we know fat is a very efficient way of storing energy. Okay? So your body stores excess sugar as fat, it stores excess protein as fat, and fat is stored as fat if you're not going to use it. One of the things, or one reason why it's hard to lose weight too, is people tend to gain fat in certain areas, and you know how we say the last fat in is the first fat to leave. So the longer you've held on to fat, the harder it is to get off of it or to lose it. So even with that idea, what I tell myself was watch what you say. This is something else that had come to me, and I want to share it now, was that if I lose something, naturally I want to find it. It's just psychologically for me. So I've started telling my body, ooh, I don't need you anymore, this excess. I don't need, you can go, you have filled your purpose, it's time for you to go. So that's what I've started saying to myself. Like, it's time for you to go. Thank you. You know, you've served me well, you can go now. Okay. It's going. Because I believe that too. I'm going to eat the fruit of my lips, right? I'm going to have what I say. So it's going. And as you age, you know, your metabolism slows down. And so I've had to figure out, I got to do a little more. I got to figure out something. But it's going to go in the name of Jesus. And these are other things that I talk to my students. Whenever I have students, I always talk to them about alcohol, because on campuses, that's one of the biggest things, right? So increasing fiber, that's another thing that can also help with weight, because it helps you feel fuller. Okay. It prevents the absorption or fast absorption of your sugar. It helps some of that fat from being absorbed too. It's such a benefit. To make sure you're getting enough fiber, and most Americans are not, because we're not the types of foods that we're eating. And again, maintaining and losing weight. So my last truth is, if you want change in your life, you must change your habits. So if you want to change your life, you have to change habits. There's no other way. Anybody ever, I used to, oh Lord, 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 and the Lord showed me, yeah, but what you gonna do, right? And so faith without works is dead. You got to do it. And I remember a sermon, I believe at the beginning of the year, Pastor Foreman had said, just a small change. Even if you just flossed your teeth. I just remember that, right? Right. That one little change. So you got to find that one little thing that can work for you. And so for me, choosing quality fruits, grains, and veggies. Claire had talked about organic if you're going to juice. And so one of the things that I tell people, I just honestly, I understand with the organic, especially the juicing and clean your fruits and vegetables. But if I can just get you to buy fruit, right? And not fruit roll-ups, not juice drinks, but just some fruit, some vegetable. If you got to do canned, get no salt or rinse it, but just buy. Right? Do the frozen. Do what you can afford. Okay? Because the idea is, it's a start, and I'd rather you have that than just say, oh, well, never mind. Right? I had an uncle who used to say, well, he was an alcoholic. He was, and I loved him. He wasn't a mean drunk. He was a funny drunk. But he would always say, well, you got to die from something. Well, let me tell you, my uncle died from throat cancer. He rolled his own cigarettes, and he drank his own whiskey. You know what I mean? So, yeah, we got to go, but I want to go at 105 in my sleep. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I'm just going to believe we can all, you know, you can have what you say. And as a man thinketh, and this goes to what I was saying about how the fat that was serving me so well all those years is leaving my body, right? Because you got to believe that you can. And that I do believe God will help you. He will give you the wisdom, the insight, and that self-discipline, which we've been talking about. So you ever been in a situation where somebody's saying something to you and you know you got to control your mouth? Most women know if you're married, because you want to tell that, and just that whole, and having that patience. I go to my happy place in my head. So it's the same. I got a text message, thank you very much, from, I forgot your name, right? Chris? What's your name? You sent me the text talking about, I wanted a piece of cake. Michelle. Sorry, Michelle. And just at that certain time, she sent the text message, say, how are you doing? Like, I'm praying your strength and, you know, the uphold. And I was like, wow, Lord, if you don't know, he always knows. Because it was a function at the school and they had some nice looking cake. So you have to but he will do it. Won't he do it? He will do it. He will do it. And the last thing is you have to move. So I read a book, I picked it up in the thrift store, but the idea is, it says, sitting kills, moving heals. And you have to move. And any questions? No. Okay. That's it. No. Okay. Thank you. Oh, okay.
We're good. Just twist it.
Actually, they are so.
We can hear the question.
Okay, so the question was, people talk about meat, but what about seafood? So, wild caught salmon. I don't do any farm raised. And then there's some fish I stay away from. So swai, you've seen those, stay away. It's just another form of catfish. You have, what's another one? Tilapia.
Tilapia.
Is another one. Right. So, my other, I guess, qualm or thing you have to think about is how often you have fish. So,
You okay, go ahead.
okay, so a lot of the benefits are dealing with omega-3s. You think about the oil. Flaxseed is a nice alternative. I know this is the Holy Spirit. I really am weaning myself off of fish as well. And I think a lot of it has to do with the more you learn about where food is coming from and how the pollution and the ocean and different things. So that's why I only do wild caught. So whatever I'm going to eat fish, it has to be wild caught. And most of your like when you go to restaurants, it's farm raised because it's cheaper. Unless it says on the menu wild caught, I would assume that it's farm raised. And so the idea of cooking at home is better. Yes?
What's the difference in farm raised and wild?
So one of the things that they do with farm raised is just like with every other industry. Yes, thank you. They try to plump things up. They give artificial color. And they use the remains of other animals to make food. Exactly, to make the feed. So a wild-caught fish is probably eating cow remains somewhere down the line.
You mean farm raised?
Farm raised. Yeah, farm raised. Yes, a farm raised. Yeah, right. And then, of course, nothing like any scavenger. So it has to have scales and fins. And God told us that for a reason. So this is the other thing I tell my students too. If I invited you to dinner, would you want me to vacuum your floor? Y'all heard this story before? Vacuum your floor and open up the vacuum cleaner and put it on your plate. Because that's what shrimp do. Them shrimps, people like to eat, right? Shrimp, the crabs. And I grew up in Maryland, so eating crabs was a big deal. You really want to stay with catfish. That's another thing. I came here. So many people eat catfish here.
Smashville.
Yes, Smashville. Yeah. So you want to stay away from scavengers. That's a definite. I hope that helped with the fish.
To increase fiber intake, are you specifically recommending raw fruits and vegetables, or is there something else?
Okay, so with fruits and vegetables, I like apples, but remember when you talk about how you got to clean your apples? Mm-hmm. So if you don't like apples, and I think the thing you gave out was talking about potential like pesticides. Mm-hmm. So apples are one, if you can get organic, then you should get organic. I eat them with the skin on. I like pears. Pears like another apple as well. I just like the skin. I do a baked potato with skin. I'll do a sweet potato with skin. I like eating the skins, but clean them. Right? You gotta clean them. Yeah. So that's a nice way to do it. My mom used to do Benefiber, and I would tell people if that's what you need to get the amount of fiber, then I would do you know what I mean, like a fiber supplement. Then I would do it.
What about aloe vera?
I don't know about fiber content, but I think aloe vera is okay to drink. Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah, Daryl. Okay. Quickly.
And what's the name again? Seafood Watch, an app called Seafood Watch that you can put in the name of the fish and it'll tell you the background on it. Will it give you the contaminant level? Full detail. Okay. Yeah.
Wycliffe?
Okay.
So you're discouraging eating out?
I am. Yes, I am. And especially buffets. Stay away.
All you can eat. Stay away from them.
Yeah. Okay.
Organization I'm trying to say.
So one of the things that I used to do, and I still have some of the cookbooks, but it's the idea of cooking in advance and how you can actually do meal prep. So there's some ways that when you're cutting up, and I don't do a lot of it, but we were talking earlier, so let's say you make dinner or your wife makes dinner, you make a little extra, you go ahead and you put them up and save it exactly for the next day. So whenever you're making your meals, you're planning for the next day. Exactly. Yeah. That's one way.
Any other questions? Thank you, Dr. Oates.
Thank you.
Very good, very good. I think she did an excellent job. And the thing is that there were tidbits all through that. Many times you get into the habit of eating so fast. One way that you can try to slow down is to actually count initially. Now, what is the recommended amount of chews that you are for each mouth? At least 32, like your teeth. 32 chews per mouthful. Some people are recommending 40. But if you take your time and eat slow, what it does is when you eat fast, you're eating so fast that you don't let your body trigger to let you know when you're full. So you're sitting it down so fast, and by the time you take it down, you've already overeaten. But if you eat slower, your body can sense, hey, we had enough. And also you'd be tired from all of the morning chews. Now we're going to bring on Cheryl. Yes, sir.
What about microwave?
I don't have the research on microwaves, so I can't talk about that. But there are some people who are saying that once you ionize your food, you're changing. And this is from my science. If you ionizing something, you're changing the molecular structure of it. So you're changing it from probably a positive to a negative. And so what that negative does, when you talk about the water, the oxidation reduction potential, the food is now radicalized. So then, therefore, it can go in there and do more destruction. That's the theory behind it. That's but I don't know. That's not an area that I'm acquainted with. So,
anybody?
Wonderful this evening. Yes. I do want to say something about the microwave. Now, this is not related to food, but in my studies to become, in IT, we have to take classes, and one of the classes that we took was in networking. And so as we were learning about network administration and computer networking, our teacher, our instructor, was actually from the military. And he was also a German. And so I'm not going to tell you how old I am. But this was in the 90s, okay? And this was right before wireless home phones were coming to be popular. And as you know, when wireless phones came out, they were at 2.4 megahertz. So we had to learn about megahertz and all the hertz, okay? We're up to gigahertz now and petahertz and everything else. And one thing he said was that being in the military, his job was to kind of monitor the huge satellite dishes in the field that they use for communication. And he said that at any given time, the satellites would fry the birds as they flew across, fry them dead. And what he said to us as future IT professionals, he says, I'm telling you, we're going to have a problem in this country with cancer because we're raising the megahertz of the phones. Now, if you know anything about cell phones, you know that they're way higher than 2.4 megahertz. Okay? Shortly after that, Bell South came out with a study that said, we have not found any relationship between cancer and cell phones. You have to consider the source when you're looking at research. What else is Bell South going to say? Really?
Right.
Okay, so I'll let you decide about that. I'm going to leave that there and let you decide, but this is what we were told in our classrooms. So tonight I got a few announcements. We're going to break up in a few minutes, and we've got some delicious food for you again tonight. We also want to remind us that we have a prayer box over here for you if anybody wants to take advantage of that. I also want to remind you that Sunday, everybody say Sunday, May 6th. Sunday, May 6th is Fitness Day. And Ebony Israel will meet us down at F.H. Jenkins School. We'll send out the address to everybody. And we're going to do some Zumba. We're going to get fit, all right? So we're going to put our money where our mouth is from 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. Okay? What time? 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. on Sunday. So let's go. Now, if you feel comfortable moving, that's okay. You're going to do it at your pace, not at the next person's pace, okay? So we're going to have some fun Sunday. How about that? The next date that I want you to put down is Sunday, 17th, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Sunday, May 19th. Is that? No, Sunday, May 20th. Sunday, May 20th is shopping day. Okay, when? Sunday, May 20th is shopping day. We're going to go shopping and we're going to spend Yvonne's money that she won last week. Okay? Now, Kroger has so graciously donated another gift card to us. So we're going to be doing a drawing next week for that gift card. So be here and you'll get your chance to win. So I want to talk about a little bit about next week. We have talked a lot about fitness, about exercising, about moving, and about food, haven't we? We've talked a lot about nutrition. Now I want to say this. Sometimes you just got to go see a doctor.
Yeah.
Isn't that right?
Yeah.
I think Dr. Young did an excellent presentation last week, explaining to us sometimes you just got to go see a doctor, okay? I want to tell you about my daughter. My daughter is now 27 years old, and 3 years ago, she was pregnant with my grandson. And she kept going back and forth to the hospital. Now, my daughter's a nurse, and she had picked up some type of infection because she works in the ER. And it's something that, you know, all nurses, y'all pick up stuff, you know, and usually doesn't bother you at all. But this one bothered her, and she was pregnant. And so she missed a lot of work. And so I didn't understand how serious it was until I went to visit her on Christmas Day. And by that time, she had been in the hospital for the 3rd time. And when I saw that she was quarantined, and the nurses had to come in with masks on, I realized the seriousness of it. Yeah. Now, I was serious about my baby, and I didn't know if she was asking the right questions because I don't care what kind of nurse she is, she's still my child.
That's right.
So I wanted to talk to the infectious disease doctor. He didn't want to talk to me. And I was like, put him on the phone. I want to know what's going on. They're not doing the right thing here. Because they couldn't get rid of the bug. They gave her some of the most powerful antibiotics that they could give her being a pregnant woman that wouldn't kill her or kill the baby. She did almost die. And I was very concerned. And you know, I wasn't there in person every day to talk to the infectious disease doctor. But how many people read New York Times? Is anybody else reading it? So did you see last week, I believe it was, it made the front page of New York Times Magazine, the problem with African American women and infections right now in this country, especially in pregnant women. So if you don't have a daughter who is of childbearing age, it used to be 100 years ago in this country, like in third world countries, that infectious diseases took people out. Right. Now, infectious diseases have not been taking us out. It's been diseases, chronic diseases, right? Well, guess what? Infectious diseases are starting to take us out. Okay? So I tell you, he has no idea how grateful I was that I could call up Dr. Wycliffe Wright, who is an infectious disease doctor, and ask questions, because I can't even pronounce the name of the infection she had. But it was good to be able to reach out to an infectious disease doctor and for him to explain it in layman's terms so that I could understand. To help you understand the gravity of the situation, after she had the baby, she developed HELLP syndrome because of the infections. And she almost died. And another nurse was also in the hospital, had just had her baby, and a month later she did die. So infectious diseases are very serious, and part of the reason is because our immune systems are low. But what are the other reasons? I don't know. But Dr. Wycliffe Wright will be here next week to help us understand. Stand up. He's sitting in the back. And he's going to come and talk to us about infectious diseases. Watching my mother have whatever blood disease that she had and getting several amputations and seeing the pain. When you see a parent who never cries, wail and cry because of pain, you know it's serious. We want to help our loved ones. We want to help our neighbors. We want to help our community. So let's be here next week so we can hear how we can prevent infectious diseases and just all about it, okay? So I hope to see you next week. At this time, we're going to stand. And what are we doing Sunday? Zumba. At what time? 1 to 2. Okay. Thank you for coming. Let's bow our heads in prayer. Lord, thank you so much for the information tonight and the delicious juice. And Lord, help us not to just come and just absorb all this knowledge, but Lord, help us to take it home with us and practice it. We love you. We thank you. We ask for safe travel as we go home and return again next Tuesday. In Jesus' name, amen. Amen. Have a good evening.